The man who got us into this situation is a man called Chris Tooth. He sent us a round-robin memo that said, are you up for this? And basically, we all replied within 24 hours, yes, we'll give it a go. Hi, I'm John, alias Old Gringo, and I'm one of the team who've started to create Black Country Blues. We'd sort of got the idea that it wasn't just going to be Staffordshire based, it was going to be Black Country based. And somebody came up somewhere with the idea of Black Country Blues. I'm not quite sure who it was, but whoever it was, I thank them very much because it's a great title for a layout. From that, we decided we'd shift closer to Birmingham and into the Black Country itself and try and get as many features as possible that represent the Black Country. So you're going to have a canal on it, you're going to have a roving bridge over a canal, which is essentially the sort of thing you'd see around Tipton, Dudley and that way on.
Hello, the project layout that we're carrying out for between RMweb, BRM and the Model Railways live website over the latter half of 2012 is Black Country Blues, and now the clock's running. So I'd like to take a chance to introduce some of the team members to you, so you can put the faces to the names that you'll see in the articles appearing on BRM and on progress on RMweb as we go through. So here at the back that we have Old Gringo, as his name is on RMweb, but really he's John Wardle. And John's been the guy very much behind the research elements going into looking at the prototype history and bringing design elements forward for consideration within the team. To John's left is Damien Ross. Damien's under, so he's got this stealth garage where he's turned out the baseboards over the last few weeks, and also joined by Chris Tooth, Too Many Spans, has been along for a polystyrene bashing session and slapping plaster over the left hand side of the layout to get you to the progress where it is actually today. Nigel, it's Nigel Brazier, Avonside 1563. Nigel's very much into the historical content. We were out the other night climbing over canal locks for piecing information together towards the project. Next on the left we've got Jeff Cook, known for his sunny disposition and cheerful interjection in projects to say, do you really want to do it like that? But Jeff, once again, sort of undercover, has got cracking in hand building elements of the track work, set into with the crossovers and double slips into the yard area of the layout. On Jeff's left we've got Mark Forrest, known as Mark Forrest. Mark's setting to building some of the rolling stock. Black Country Blues as a layout is very much based in, or in its initial form, is based on steel industry in the mid-1970s. So Mark's certainly got his work cutting out in the wagon choices that he's made. There's not a lot of options actually out there on a ready-to-run basis, so a lot of kits and adaptation of kits is coming into the equation. And similarly on the rolling stock and wagon front, hiding at the back on the left, is Andy Banks. I mean, Andy's got a depth of industrial archaeology knowledge, canals heritage, which is important to this layout as it comes together. And one of the key elements that we see on the layout, one of the centre features is the 5-arch viaduct, which is based on certain structures around the Grand Junction Railway. That Andy's actually set to on that and got the framework of the viaduct, which probably takes you near enough to where we are in terms of progress, as we say, right at the beginning of July.
The idea that I'd got was that we'd have a main line that was built in the early Victorian period, opening actually the year Queen Victoria came to the throne of 1837, based on the Grand Junction line, which runs down from Crewe right into Birmingham. So the original sketch that I came up with, it gave you the distance in chains, and this is like the original sort of drawing that the Victorian engineers would have put in their proposal for a railway. But what I've done here is combine the original drawing of 1837 with a later drawing of 1880 to give us a full track plan. here's the gradients we're going to use, and there's the original track plan, which was quite simple, but it contained the viaduct, and the back line has got a smaller viaduct on it as well. Now, it looked a great plan, and it was all right to send out to the guys, and it got us the proposal in a lot of the ways, but it would have made a rubbish operational layout. So the operational guys, Mark, Andy, Nigel and Jeff, they all got hold of it and said, we want some sidings. You can see here it's quickly redesigned with the larger sidings are going in. It's basically over 4 boards. Jeff then transfers it onto Templop. So here you've got single slip onto the main line, a double slip at the end of the yard, and the sidings going off, and the industrial line then will go up the gradient there, and the main line goes down to the tunnel. So now it's gone out to 25 chains long. It's basically a junction and the same industrial line as was planned in the first place.
So as you can see, we've got the baseboard at the moment, and the route that we've taken is to construct it completely flat boards, well below the level of the track bed, and this allows the full depth of the scenery. I've used insulation foam and glued that to the base and glued that to the track bed. The next steps will be to fill the base level of the scenery in. That will involve expanded polystyrene. When that's formed along the front, we will then put a wooden fascia along the front. In terms of the track bed, cork on the top will be put on exactly in terms of the track bed width, and it'll be chamfered to form the ballast shoulder on the side. We've also got Jeff's points on the top here. They will be glued down into place. Provision has been made underneath for point motors. I think we're going to use exacta scale point operating mechanisms with tortoise motors fitted underneath. Prior to painting, prior to ballasting, all the wiring will go on, so the rails are still clean. It's going to be DCC, so they'll all just go to a common terminal block. Once that's done and once that's tested, we'll get to the point that we're able to do the early colours on the track, the sleeper colours, the rail colours, and then finally we'll be able to put the ballast on.
One of the civil engineering features we wanted to include was a viaduct that was based on one of the proper Grand Junction structures. This is actually shot of Penkridge Viaduct, and what we're going to do is we're going to build it all in blue brick, which is what the ones down near Perry Bar are much closer to, and they're all of the same thing with the stone voussoirs down the edge. And from this, I worked out some measurements, which I think this has been on RMweb, and worked out the span of it and measurements on the ground, and turned out the plan that you can see here, which is not too far off what the original drawings look like, except it's a 7 arch in the real thing, and I've knocked it down to 5 arches to fit the space we've got on the layout. All the features on the layout are inspired by actual Black Country locations. For instance, the viaduct, as you've just seen, was inspired by a viaduct at Penkridge, but it also occurs down at Perry Bar. Now the tunnel that I'm just above here, the tunnel is inspired by a picture in Simon Dewey's wonderful Wolverhampton's Railways book, Advert, and it's actually Heathtown or Summit Tunnel, depending on which name you put to it. And it's an original stone-built tunnel, as you can see, with blue brick curved wing wall here. Now what we want to do is we want to put the stone in there, we'll have the curved wall there, and on this side where the new industrial line's been put in, we're going to have to chop a bit away here and put a new retaining wall in.